Steelers Nation, how's everyone doing? The team is working hard week after week, trying to improve, trying to sharpen every little detail so that better results keep coming our way. And just like the players grind on the field, we grind here on the channel to bring you the very latest news and analysis. Before we dive into today's huge update, do me a favor, hit that like button so more members of Steelers Nation can join the conversation. Now let's get into it, because this is a story that could shake up the entire offense going into Sunday's international showdown in Dublin, Ireland. Out of nowhere, running back Jaylen Warren, the heart and soul of this Steelers offense through the first 3 weeks, has popped up on the injury report with a knee issue. NFL Network's Tom Pelissero broke the news, and it immediately sent shockwaves through Pittsburgh's fan base. Warren is officially listed as questionable for the Week 4 matchup against the Minnesota Vikings. And let's not sugarcoat this, folks. His availability changes everything. Why? Because Warren isn't just another running back. He's not just filling Najee Harris's shoes after Harris left in free agency. He's become the guy, the go-to playmaker, the safety valve, the one player who has consistently given this offense life when drives start to stall. Through just 3 games, Warren has 132 rushing yards, 11 receptions, 142 receiving yards, and a receiving touchdown. Let me put it another way. He currently leads the Steelers in rushing yards, receptions, and receiving yards. Think about that. The running back is the team leader in all 3 categories. That tells you just how valuable he has been. So the timing of this news couldn't be worse. The Steelers are 2-1, yes, but they could very easily be 0-3 without Warren's production. If Warren can't go, the offense is in for a serious adjustment. Reports say Kenneth Gainwell would be the starter. Now, Gainwell is a serviceable back, he's got experience, he's a smart player, and he's handled rotational duties before. But let's be real, he doesn't have Warren's explosiveness, his tackle-breaking ability, or his chemistry with Aaron Rodgers in the passing game. And then there's the rookie Caleb Johnson. Coaches have been impressed with his flashes during practice, and this could be his chance to earn some live reps. But are you really comfortable going into an international game against a Vikings team hungry for their first win without your top offensive weapon and relying on a rookie who's never seen meaningful snaps? That's the risk the Steelers could be staring at. Let's zoom out here for a second, because the Warren injury doesn't just affect one game. It impacts the identity of this offense. Aaron Rodgers has shown he can still make throws, still push the ball downfield, but let's be honest, he's not the Rodgers of 2016 or 2020 anymore. He needs balance. He needs a strong running game and a reliable checkdown option to keep defenses honest. That's been Jaylen Warren in 2025. Warren's versatility forces defenses to stay on their toes. Linebackers can't just drop into deep coverage because Warren will kill you on a screen or an option route. Safeties can't just shade over to DK Metcalf or George Pickens because Warren will bust a run through a gap and pick up 12 yards. Without him, defenses can start to dictate the game. Now, Warren isn't the only name on the injury list. Tight end Jonnu Smith is questionable with a hip issue, and cornerback Joey Porter Jr. is questionable with a hamstring injury. Losing Porter Jr. would be another brutal blow to the secondary, especially in a game where the Vikings will likely test the Steelers with their speed at wide receiver. And if Jonnu Smith can't go, the offense loses a red zone target and one of Rodgers' trusted short yardage weapons. It's not just Warren. The Steelers could be going into Ireland short-handed across the board. But it's not all bad news, Steelers Nation. In fact, the defense just got a huge lift. Safety Deshaun Elliott is back and ready to go after missing 2 weeks with an MCL sprain. This is massive. Elliott was a tackling machine last season, finishing second on the team with 108 tackles, along with 3 fumble recoveries, 2 forced fumbles, and an interception. The guy is everywhere, and he brings physicality and leadership to a defense that has looked shaky at times so far. Elliott practiced fully late in the week and carries no game day designation, which means he's a go. Now, the big question, what will his workload look like? Will he be on a snap count, or will the Steelers throw him back into his starting role right away? Either way, his presence should calm things down on the back end. And let's not forget, Elliott just signed a 2-year, $12.5 million extension this offseason. The front office sees him as part of the long-term plan, and now he has a chance to remind everyone why he might be ready. With Elliott back, the rotation at safety gets interesting. Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark helped things down early, while Jabril Peppers impressed in Week 3 with 6 tackles and a fumble recovery. The Steelers suddenly have depth at safety again, and defensive coordinator Terrell Austin might get creative. Could we see Elliott alongside Peppers more often? Could Ramsey slide back into the nickel role if Porter Jr. returns? All of these moving pieces show just how fluid the situation is in the secondary. But again, this all circles back to Warren, because the defense could get its groove back with Elliott's return, but if the offense can't move the chains without Warren, the Steelers could be in for a long afternoon in Dublin. Make no mistake, Steelers Nation, this game matters. International games have a weird energy, and the last thing Pittsburgh wants is to let Minnesota build confidence. The Steelers are 2-1, but they've won ugly. And if you want to win ugly again on Sunday, you need your most reliable weapon on offense. That's Jaylen Warren. Without him, Aaron Rodgers will be forced to throw more, and that increases the risk of turnovers, sacks, and stalled drives. It could be the difference between flying home 3-1 or limping back 2-2 with a ton of questions about the offense. One of the most intriguing storylines of this offseason was the rise of rookie wide receiver Roman Wilson. After an injury-riddled rookie campaign that saw him basically sidelined all year, he came into camp looking sharp, determined, and hungry. And the preseason, folks, he was electric. He put up nearly 100 yards and a touchdown on just 4 catches, showcasing speed, route running, and the kind of spark that makes you think this guy might be ready to contribute. But now, just 3 weeks into the regular season, we're hearing something very different. Pittsburgh insider Ray Fittipaldo, appearing on 93.7, delivered the kind of update that no fan of Roman Wilson wanted to hear. He said flat out that it doesn't look like Wilson is in the Steelers' plans right now. Instead, the team is locked in on DK Metcalf and Calvin Austin as the main wideouts, with Jonnu Smith and Pat Freiermuth heavily involved in the passing game as well. And of course, don't forget Jaylen Warren out of the backfield, who has quietly become one of Rodgers' favorite checkdown targets. The translation? Roman Wilson is buried.
Through 3 games, Wilson has logged just 41 offensive snaps. He's been targeted only twice with 1 catch for 7 yards. Compare that to what we saw in August, and it feels like 2 different players. Yes, he's playing more snaps than Scotty Miller and Ben Skowronek, but that's not saying much. He's clearly behind the top group, and unless injuries open the door, it doesn't look like the Steelers are planning to feature him. That's the frustrating part, Steelers Nation, because while Wilson has shown flashes don't mean much if you're not actually on the field when it counts. That's the million-dollar question. Why is a guy who flashed in the preseason being left on the sidelines now? Fittipaldo suggested a few possible reasons. Maybe it's about chemistry with Aaron Rodgers. Let's face it, Rodgers is one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, but he is notoriously picky about his receivers. He wants trust, timing, and reliability. He has it with DK Metcalf. He's building it with Calvin Austin, and he leans on his tight ends and running backs because they're veteran guys who know where to be. Wilson? He's still earning that trust. Rodgers even admitted during camp that one of his goals was to get Wilson out of his head, meaning the young receiver might have been overthinking routes, responsibilities, or just struggling to play free and confident. The other factor is simply the pecking order. The Steelers invested big resources in DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin has carved out his niche as the speedy, versatile piece. Then you add Jonnu Smith, Pat Freiermuth, and Jaylen Warren, all guys who demand touches. And suddenly the ball is being spread around 5 or 6 different directions before you even get to Wilson. The danger here is that Roman Wilson becomes the forgotten man on this roster. We've seen it before in Pittsburgh. Talented young wideouts get buried, lose confidence, and never really emerge. And right now, that's the path Wilson is walking. Remember, this is a 3rd-round pick from 2024. That's not a throwaway investment. The Steelers saw real potential in him. And in the preseason, he flashed that potential. But if he can't find his way onto the field during the regular season, the organization may start asking the hard questions about whether he fits in their long-term plan. For Wilson, every snap matters right now. Even if it's just 10 snaps a game, he has to make something happen when the ball comes his way. Because if he doesn't, he risks being viewed as just depth, just another guy filling a roster spot. Now, let's not lose sight of the bigger picture here. The Steelers' passing attack is still very much a work in progress. Aaron Rodgers has looked sharp at times, but he's also dealing with a line that's been inconsistent and receivers that are still developing timing with him. This is where a player like Wilson could be valuable. He's young, he's fast, and he gives defenses another element to think about. Right now, it feels like the offense is very predictable. Metcalf on the outside, Austin working the middle, tight ends as safety nets, and Warren out of the backfield. Good defenses will start to key in on that. Why not sprinkle in Wilson to add some unpredictability? Give Rodgers another vertical threat, another guy who can run after the catch. Sometimes it feels like the Steelers are leaving tools in the toolbox while trying to fix the car. Of course, in the NFL, one injury changes everything. If DK Metcalf or Calvin Austin were to miss time, Roman Wilson would suddenly become very important. The coaches know that, which is why he's still on the active roster and still getting at least some reps. But is that the plan? To just keep him in the break glass in case of emergency role? That doesn't seem like the best way to develop a young wideout who showed so much promise just weeks ago. So here's where we stand. Jaylen Warren is questionable with a knee injury. Jonnu Smith and Joey Porter Jr. are also questionable. Deshaun Elliott is back, which gives the defense a spark. Kenneth Gainwell and Caleb Johnson could be asked to step up if Warren can't go. Steelers Nation, this is one of those weeks where we hold our breath and wait for the final injury report just 90 minutes before kickoff. Warren has been the engine of this offense, and his status could decide whether Sunday ends in celebration or frustration. Now I want to hear from you. Do you think the Steelers can beat the Vikings if Jaylen Warren doesn't play? Or is he too important to lose right now? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'll be reading every single one. And if you love getting the latest Steelers news, updates, and breakdowns like this, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a story. We're building a strong community here, and I want you to be a part of it. Here we ho, Steelers Nation.